and welcome to the Sports Card Advantage podcast. I am Jeff, and that is Bunk. What's going on, Bunk?
What's up, Jeff? How you doing?
Good guy, good guy. You know,
Another
just
nice background you got there. It's maybe a theme today.
that may be a hint of what we may be talking about a little bit later. I got the warm and fuzzies in my nether regions for some vintage basketball talk today. Yes, before we get started, I've neglected to do this at the beginning of every single podcast, so we're going to do it now. If you have anything you want us to talk about, any cards you want us to review, please send an email to info@sportscardadvantage.com. Follow us on social media across all channels. It's Sports Card ADVTG. That's Sports Card ADVTG. Please follow us, comment, engage. We'd love to see what you guys have to say. Anything you want to talk about before we get started?
Man, can't wait for the basketball.
Yeah, I know you're psyched about the basketball. All right, so let's jump into our main event. We're talking eBay. eBay has recently made some changes as far as their policies are concerned. They are basically saying there are no more bid retractions, and then they have also disconnected completely from PayPal. You can still use PayPal to buy things on eBay, but the two companies are no longer joined as they used to be. So they are looking for bank account backups and other things for PayPal users, and potentially going to go into your bank account automatically. So there's been some crazy posts as far as making sure you disconnect your bank account. But it all...
Why are they going into my bank account?
Because if for whatever reason your PayPal doesn't clear, they're using your bank account as an automatic backup, and then going back into your bank account automatically is what is being discussed on social media right now. So with that being said, what are your thoughts as far as eBay is concerned right now? Do you feel that what they did is good? And, are you looking for potentially other places to buy cards, sell cards? Do you feel that eBay's moving in the right direction, wrong direction for the hobby?
Yeah, there's a lot there. For me, I think everyone pretty much would agree that eBay's been up the buyer's ass for years. And if they screw over the seller any chance they get, because I get it, the more happy buyers they have, the more money they're going to make. But so they've sided with the buyers on more cases than not in a lot of different scenarios. So I think the no bid retraction can only be looked as a positive. There's a little W for the sellers there. But as far as the managed payments with eBay and stuff like that, I stayed away. I let that go for months and months, and I kept saying I refuse to do managed payments with eBay. I wanted in my PayPal account, and that's how I was doing it. But I think I broke down maybe 10 days ago, and I linked up.
And when you say managed payments, just define for everybody what you're talking about.
Managed payments is you can no longer use your PayPal balance and accept PayPal, and it goes in your PayPal account. Now, because, as you pointed out earlier, because eBay and PayPal are apart now, that money, instead of going into your PayPal account balance when you sell something, it now takes more time, but it clears into your actual checking account or whatever account you link it to, not into your PayPal.
Gotcha. And I think that's what everybody's talking about, as far as like eBay is trying to get more people to link their bank accounts, but then they're also going into those bank accounts. There's definitely some stuff in the fine print as far as what gives them authorization to go into your bank account for sales. So if you buy something and don't pay for it, there's definitely some stuff in the fine print that people need to read, so that you don't all of a sudden have a withdrawal to eBay that you don't know about. So definitely.
Yeah, not for nothing. You buy something and don't pay for it right away. I don't care if eBay goes in and takes money out. I know you're guilty as hell on that department, but if you buy something, pay for the goddamn item. Period.
Yes.
So eBay wants to go in and take money out because you don't pay for it right away. All right. But the only other thing I can think of eBay would automatically take money out for is, your monthly fees. I don't know that you have to give permissions for that. But.
No, and more than likely with a company like eBay, they're not doing anything shady that isn't in any kind of agreement. So, if you're uncomfortable about those kinds of things, just look at read your agreements, and if you're really concerned, then just disconnect your bank account and go through PayPal or use your credit cards. I have a few credit cards and a PayPal account connected to my eBay that we buy with all the time, and I don't I don't have my bank account connected to eBay.
Yeah, I mean, for me, nothing changes as far as eBay is concerned. I only linked up the managed payments because if I have a larger card that I know is a little quicker, more eyeballs, it's going to go instantly on eBay, and I'm going to have to eat the fees. But the majority of things now that I'm trying to sell, I stay away from eBay because I don't want to pay all the fees for these smaller items.
Yeah.
And there's enough places that you can go to sell stuff that I'd rather go there.
As it is as it is known on Instagram as and Twitter for all the people that are not fans, they call it Feebay, and so that brings us to the next question. You know, do you feel that you can get better deals elsewhere? Is it as safe and secure? Sites like StarStock, COMC, other auction sites. We've talked about the safety of purchase, but the thing that concerns me the most is eBay gives you the largest audience. So if I'm selling, you know, I definitely want to be trying to sell on eBay so I can get the most eyeballs on it. But if I'm buying, I would be looking at other places because I may be able to find a better deal, someplace else. But I mean, I'll be honest, I've looked on StarStock and guys are trying to get top dollar. They're not, there's no auction. They're never listing it, at least from what I've seen, at comps. They're always at least 20 to 30% over, trying to get over on people, which I don't blame them for. But at the same time, you're at the mercy of what they want to do. So it's basically like people doing best offers on eBay.
Yeah, I mean that sounds like to me you're just getting in because you think it's going up. There's no getting in low or under.
Yeah, I mean, at least with an auction, if you can find off times or whatever else, you may be able to sneak one by and get something for less. I mean, granted, the fees on sites like StarStock and COMC are a lot less, but you're not getting a deal, at least in my opinion.
Listen, a lot of aspects of the hobby, a lot of things one of the things people lack is patience. So whether it comes to should I sell or not, it really comes down to patience. So for me, I'll go across multiple sites if I'm looking for something in particular, and if I can find it with free shipping or cheap shipping, I'm going to go there instead of the other place. But I'll take the time. If I need a dollar card and you're going to bang me 450 to ship it, I'll wait 2 months and then I'll find that dollar card free ship and I'll
Yeah.
buy it then. But if you're willing to wait, especially for lower end stuff, you just got to have some patience.
Yeah, and for those guys that are looking for higher end stuff, you're looking for a deal, so you have to just play the market and see whether or not you can find an auction that closes at off times or whether or not you can offer somebody that's willing to play ball. Otherwise you're paying the fees and you're paying for what somebody wants. So it just depends on scarcity, depends on price. But don't think of eBay as your only option to buy and sell cards. There is plenty of other stuff out there. Just start looking around for consignment, PWC, COMC, StarStock. There's a couple of others out there that if you Google or look around on social media, you can find it. Just make sure that they're reputable before you start handing over payment information and credit cards. We have a ton of investment lottery tickets. I think we're talking mostly investment today. I mean, maybe you have lottery tickets for baseball. So
No, I just have a nice short and sweet baseball summary for you after your basketball.
so you want to go on the tirade of one football and a ton of basketball right now?
Yeah, hit it, and I'll be quick.
All right. All right. So I'll go first here. I'm going to start with the one football that I have, and that's Kyler Murray. For those of you that are listening, fantastic. For those of you that are watching on YouTube, we have charts that we're going to be talking about. So first is Kyler Murray 2019 Prism PSA 9 and PSA 10. I think both are good deals. Nines you're getting right now for less than $100. He has Hopkins. They got Green. They picked up a couple of other weapons in the off season. Now's his time. If he's gonna show up, they improve the defense a little bit. If he's gonna show up, hopefully it's this year. There's a tremendous dip on his stuff right now, so I'm looking to acquire. The thing that I'm looking at most is tremendous support for the price in the $80 to $100 range. So in both places back in June of 2020 and then early 2021. So I'm looking to buy Kyler Murray right now. We can take a look at the 10 real quick too. Same deal. It's more expensive, so depending on what your budget is, but both populations are in the low 2000s, and there's support at the price levels where things are at. I mean, right now you're about $400 on the PSA 10. There is support between 350 and 400, so I think this is definitely a solid football QB, low risk, high reward play. Especially that we're sitting in the lull in the off season, buy it now or wait a little while. I don't think there's going to be tremendous jumps on it until we start to see guys take the field.
Yeah, and then you mentioned that, and just this week alone, I've seen a couple, from some other products, PSA 10 Murray's popping up, and my first gut instinct looking at the price was, wow, it's a nice price.
Yep,
So
100%.
sounds like that's where it's headed right now.
Yeah, I love Murray right now, as far as the technicals on the cards. As far as the charts are concerned, and if he shows up and plays, and the Cardinals win some games, and he has good stats, you should easily be looking at a nice jump from him. Next, we're gonna jump into all basketball. LeBron James, and there's a couple that we're gonna look at here. So what I'm looking at on both of these opportunities is the PSA 9s. There are PSA 10s out there, obviously, but and try to put it into price ranges that most people may be able to afford. But with the PSA 9s for LeBron, you have low population. I'm looking at the 2003 Bowman Rookies and Stars, and then we'll look at 2003 Topps Chrome. But you have support in this area on this chart in the $1,300-$1,400 range. That's where you're at now. So if you can get this card for around that price, definitely looking to do that. He has Space Jam 2 coming out, and then he's coming into the last year or two of his career. Now may be the best opportunity for you to get his cards while he has still an opportunity to win another title, and then eventually he's going to retire and go into the Hall. So you have to imagine at some point these cards will hit a bottom and only go up from there as he goes into retirement in the Hall of Fame. So we'll take another look at the Topps Chrome card. Also PSA 9. Population's definitely higher on this, closer to 3,000. But same, almost identical looking chart. Actually, this is actually a lot more expensive than I thought. At $4,000, I thought this was going to be around the same price as the Bowman, but it's not. And the reason why I'm staying away from the Topps paper is just the population on that is super high. You're already at 4,200 plus whatever's sitting at PSA. The charts look the same, so if you want to take a shot on this, I just don't know if you'll have as much upside just because the populations are a lot higher. So, but with the Topps paper PSA 9 and the Topps and the 2003 Bowman Rookies and Stars, both around the same price for PSA 9s, around that $1,000 to $1,500 range. And you should be able to get in right now with low risk and much higher rewards.
What are some of the highs on those type of cards? Recent highs.
The recent highs
or the most recent time it spiked.
3250 on this.
So you're looking double.
Yeah.
Okay.
If not more. So 3250 on this back earlier this year, a couple months ago. And, so there's definitely upside there. It's LeBron. He's going to be regarded as a top 3 player of all time. But the thing that you got to just try to make sure is you're buying cards that have as as low pops as possible. And this card already is at 4,200 in the PSA 9, and you got to figure there's at least another few thousand of those sitting at PSA right now. So that's my only concern as far as whether or not you'll see the upside, just due to the scarcity, and people in the hobby are running from high pop cards like the house was on fire.
What if I'm going to keep it forever
If
and I
you're
want to
gonna,
drop for a '03 Topps Chrome? Is that a good price even at $4 grand compared to
I
its
think
peaks?
I think so. You're at least the PSA 9. I mean, your peak on that is 3x at 12 grand, and your pop is still at 3,000. So it's,
That's not bad.
yeah, it's not bad. We're gonna talk about a few others that are a lot
Not
less,
great.
but this card could sink a little bit lower. So if you can get it for less than 4,000, you're getting it around 3,500. I would like that price more than 4 grand, just based on what you're seeing historically. 3,000 to 3,500. If you can target that, especially if you're at like a show, I would hop all over that if you had the money. All right, hang in there. We got a lot to go. There's a lot of opportunities that I saw. A lot of these charts are similar, but we're gonna pretty much stay in the pre 2000 basketball. Allen Iverson, all the guys that we're going to be talking about are all Hall of Famers, and all of their charts look really similar. They all had massive spikes earlier this year, and all have come down to where everything was, back, basically September of last year. And, I don't think that these cards are going to sink back to where they were in, 2018, 2017. I think, these areas, in 2020 are going to be the new supports, the new floors. And we've come all the way back here. So I think that, there's a great opportunity here. PSA 9, Iverson, population 2,400. Price, you can probably get it for around $300. The PSA 10 is about 1,500, and Iverson, one of the top players of all time, Hall of Famer, $1,500, pop 679. So I think that the market is going to start to see these opportunities and see these prices, and I think you're going to start to see people buy. And since there isn't like 15,000 of them floating around, it's not going to be, you can just go run out and buy one. It's going to take a little effort, and I think it's going to push the price back up. Next on the list, 1981 Larry Bird. We're going to look at a PSA 8. The chart looks almost identical to Iverson's, and all these charts look almost identical. Huge spike when the market spiked earlier this year, and everybody got FOMO, and now the price is all the way back down to 250. You can probably pick it up for 200. It's Larry Bird. So if you've ever wanted to add Larry Bird to your collection, his rookie card, definitely very affordable right now. Population 2,000. Even the PSA 9 is somewhat reasonable. You're seeing some support come in, between around $1,000. There's a couple sales right around $1,000. Solid buy, especially if you're a Bird fan.
This is card number 4.
It is card number 4, yes.
You can get a BGS 9 for half price.
Well, you can get a BGS 9, crack it, and submit it to PSA, and then wait, a year. But yeah, I mean, in my opinion, Larry Bird also going to go down, as some people put him in their top 5, top 10 of all time. So a card that has population 1,000, that you can get for $1,000 with one of the top players of all time. I think it's well worth it, and you'll eventually see that appreciate as people start to see the prices are this low and start to buy again.
Those PSA 9s are $1,000?
Yeah, the PSA 9 one sold on the 30th of May for $1,060. and then one sold on the 23rd of May for 1,200, and then you had a pop up to 1,600. So that may have been like a best offer type of situation. So it looks like at auction you can probably get it for 11 to 1,300 bucks.
And if you're like me, you like the BGS 9. Those are coming in at just over 400 bucks.
Wow, that's a huge difference. BGS 9 at 400 versus PSA 9 at 1,200. That's a massive difference.
Yeah. And again, we've talked about this before. I mean, I personally, I don't know when it's going to turn, but I think again, I always say is that BGS 9 is worth more than a PSA 9 for me. I know the secondary market disagrees, but yeah, if I'm buying this card, I'm looking at those ladders, and I'm going to check out a BGS too.
And I know that the hobby hall monitors out there, like, cringe at any time you hear the word crack the slab. But at the same time, if I can get a BGS 9 for 400, and if I crack it and submit it to PSA, and I'm willing to wait for it, especially with a 1981 bird, and I could 3X on that, I'm going to take a shot. I would take a shot with 3 bird BGS 9s and submit them to PSA.
Yeah, you probably get a 10.
You might. I mean, it's something that you could roll the dice with. I understand people that are the purists out there just, think that's absolutely abhorrent. And for those of you that don't know what abhorrent is, you can go look it up.
No,
but
for me, I get it. I understand why people crack cases, but then that's why I have a huge issue with sometimes on certain cards. I don't even care what the pop report says because how many thousands might have been cracked open.
yeah, I mean, and some of these cards, and if you really want to be the good person, you can call the grading company and tell them that you cracked it, and let them know, and they'll take it off the pop report.
You know how many times that's probably happened?
0.
That's correct. You know, my favorite thing this week was, you made me think of it just now, was people posting their subs coming back from PSA, and all of them are like, oh, they're not giving out 10s like candy anymore. This is why I got a 9. The card looks perfect, but I'm getting 9s because they're trying to do damage control.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
I've heard some other. There was an interview with Nat Turner this week in PSA, and the interviewer brought that up and asked, like, hey, is PSA cracking down because there's so many 10s and people saying that it's, and obviously they deny it, but
Billion of them.
But there is a lot of anecdotal posts on social media saying that they are, the 10s are not coming like they used to. But PSA has said they are not going to go to halves, so that you won't see a PSA 9.5 anytime in the near future. And they also said they're not grading them harder, but it seems like a lot of people are complaining about it online.
Yeah, and again, at the end of the day, I think just because you have more people actually in the game right now, so you're gonna have more people complaining when they don't get what they want.
Yeah, I mean, that exactly correct. You don't have a bunch of hardcore freaking dads, trying to build sets and do whatever. You got guys trying to make money and guys that
Come
are
on, man.
you got guys trying to make money and guys trying to flip, and a lot of people that are losing out on a source of income. People that were sending stuff off to PSA, getting 10s and flipping stuff, and that seems to be a lot less easy than it used to be.
All right, that was quality tangent. Where to next, sir?
We are moving on to 2003 Dwayne Wade. And we're going to look at Topps Chrome Dwayne Wade, Pop 1,112. And the chart's almost identical to everybody else. You had the massive spike. You had the pullback. It's meeting in that support level of where the cards were back in mid to end of 2020. And it seems to be the trend right now in this market that people are moving away from high pop cards. High pop cards are falling. Like, they're going out of style, and people are looking to buy things that are more rare. So that's one of the other reasons why I think that eventually people will start to gravitate back to guys that are already retired, guys that are in the Hall of Fame, populations that are less than a few thousand, in certain cases less than 1,000, that not everybody and their mother has, and it's not on eBay or at every card show or whatever else, that they can buy and have something that they can stick on the shelf. So, this card right now, $300. If you can get it for less than 300, good for you. And then the PSA 10 on it, population less than 1,000, and you're seeing prices right around 1,500. So if you got the money, by all means, see if you can get it for a little bit less than 1,500. But Dwayne Wade, Hall of Famer, great career, good dude. Not a bad investment for long term. Price capped out at $5,000. So massive upside, especially as the hobby grows and people are going to invest in retired players.
BGS 9.5 at $600.
BGS 9.5 at $600. So once again, it's something known in the trading space or financial markets as arbitrage. Where you can buy one asset and flip it for another, and I hate to say it, but it's not a bad play. You can buy a BGS 9.5, crack it, and for, you said 600.
Yeah, one finished 550, one finished like 650. So I averaged it out.
So it's a chance that you take if you buy it for 600. Let's just say 600, and you submit it, you get a PSA 9. You're going to take a loss. If you get a PSA 10, you're going to double up. So it's definitely an interesting way to flip if you want to take that chance.
We got to find somebody that does that. That's all they do. Crack it open. I want to talk to them.
I got to imagine there's people out there that, if you know anybody that does that, send us an email, info@sportscardadvantage.com. There's got to be people out there.
That's great stones. I'd like to talk to that person.
I mean, if you want to roll the dice, it'd be some great content. At some point as we.
Well, I want the data.
Well,
I want to know how many W's he has.
I don't know if you're ever going to get accurate data on that, unfortunately, but it'd be an experiment that, as we grow and make a little bit of money from this at some point in the future, we can take on those things and buy some of this stuff.
Like buy 100 BGS 9s, see how many 10s we get.
I would love to get that information. I mean, that could be tremendously valuable information. So
yeah, when everything's back to normal, time-wise.
Yeah. Next, Chris Paul, 2005 Chris Paul, still playing, still has a chance to win a title this year. We're going to look at the Topps Chrome. Also, right now, really reasonable. 285 on the PSA 9. A lot less volume. Pop 237 on this card. Chris Paul, future Hall of Famer, has had a great career. If he caps it off with a title, this should be a no-brainer. PSA 10 on this. Pop 234. And I mean, this thing is sunk like a stone in the last few weeks, but it's settling in, same price roughly, $800. You should be able to get it for right around there, and definitely something that could provide you a really good return over the next 6 months, especially if they win a title or they go to the finals, and if he's going to retire sometime soon. So should be a good investment going forward.
Very cool.
All right, I'm gonna we're running a while here. I have a couple of others that I'm gonna just read off. 1998 Vince Carter, Topps Chrome, same deal as everybody else. Just look at where the support is on the chart. And then I want to talk about two, big name players. 2007 Kevin Durant. We're going to look at the black Topps Chrome. PSA 9, Pop 1428. Right now, it bottomed at $1,000 about 6 days ago, and then after the Nets won a couple games, seeing it pop back up. Basically, look for a deal. Look for, Nets lose a game, something like that, or he plays bad or whatever it is. You may be able to find an auction that closes a little bit lower, but Nets definitely have a fantastic chance to win a title. that, that's another thing that he can add to his resume. But for a low pop PSA 9 Kevin Durant rookie, that if you can get it for less than $1,500, he will also go down probably as a top 10 player of all time. Should be fantastic long-term investment. And then one thing that really surprised me, 1997 Tim Duncan. Look at Topps Chrome. I mean, the population on this is a little bit high, 4,400. So that may be why it's so cheap. But, Tim Duncan, Topps Chrome rookie, top 20 player of all time, probably. You could get it for $200. So if you're a Tim Duncan fan or looking for long-term money on Duncan, it topped out at 5x where it is now. And the PSA 10s also just straight down plummeting and running into some support. So if you can get this one for less than $1,000,
what's the pop on the 10?
2,300. I mean, so it's definitely high.
I'm loving those Chris Paul pops then.
Yeah. I mean, there are some of these out there that, are less than 1,000, which, I think are great opportunities. So I think right now, early 2000s and 90s basketball is fantastic investing opportunities. These things have gotten absolutely crushed. And, it makes sense though. If you look at the numbers, back in 2019, these cards, $200, and then they hit 5,000. So you're talking literally 25 times. What is that? My math is terrible. What's 5,000 divided by 200? Is that
5,000 divided by 200? So you got 5 200s and 1,000 guy.
Oh, Jesus
times
Christ.
5.
Our fucking math teachers in high school are fucking rolling over in their graves right
25 guy. You're right. 25
now.
times.
Okay, I was right. So you're talking 25 times your money in a year and a half. I mean, it's only logical that it comes back down. And even then, you're looking at something that's 5x where it was 18 months ago. 5x in any investing opportunity is a ridiculous return. So it makes sense that this is going to create a new support, a new bottom, hopefully right around these levels, and present people with some buying opportunities. All right, I'm going to take a breath and I'm going to turn it over to you. What am I?
Yeah, speaking of buying opportunities.
What can I get you into today?
Well, you had asked me like many episodes ago who I was buying like preseason stuff, and I was all over Jared Kelenic. So he came up and decided he can't hit at the major league level yet. So his prices came plummeting down. If you do the math on when he got called up to now, you're talking about buying dips. You got something to say? Are you looking at something else there?
No, I'm looking. I'm bringing up his card right now. I have the 2018 Bowman draft. Is that something?
Yeah. I was looking at his Bowman Chromes.
Okay, I don't know if Bowman Chromes are in the. Here we go. Yeah, Chrome batting. 2018 Bowman Chrome batting is what I'm looking at.
Yeah, I don't think we're far enough away on the charts. I don't think we're far enough away from his demotion to see a big dip yet on there. But the last few things that have closed across the board are really low. So it's not something I'm jumping on yet, but I'm keeping a very close eye on it because the like we talked about last week, the PSA 9s are getting close to the Raws, and we're talking some of the auctions are closing well below preseason numbers right now.
Yeah, so you're looking at recently you had one close PSA 9 for 46, and you're looking at raw.
9s are up over 100.
Well, there's one that closed for $46.
No, I mean
they were. You mean?
Yeah.
And raw, you're looking at one close for 30.
The last one was at 28.
Yeah, 26, 28. So yeah, so they're pretty close as far as the PSA 9s and the raws.
Right, and my point was the gap is closing on them. They were much more, 2 weeks ago even there was a big difference between those two. And now the other thing, keep in mind, a little eBay tip is and especially when you're looking at closed data, when you expect maybe some kind of event to change pricing, some of the prices that are closed after its demotion, if they were a 10-day auction and it got bid up early, that thing's still going to end higher than it potentially might have, if the person bidding it up had the information ahead of time. So you kind of got to let the dust settle a little bit on some of the auctions, just because, again, like I said, they get bid up early. You get the news or an event or a demotion or something where the price is going to change. You got to make sure you take that into consideration.
Absolutely. And, what's your overall outlook on Kellenick? I mean, do you think he stays in the Mariners organization and eventually comes back up? Do you think he gets traded?
Yeah,
Is
he'll be
he a
back up.
bust?
I mean, I have no idea if he's a bust or not. But I'm just playing the game of age, how well you're hitting in the minors, hype, blah blah blah. The fact of the matter is, he's back down. He's probably going to rake at AAA again. His price is going to plummet because he's hitting up 100 at the major league level, and he's going to come back up, and he has a hot streak, and the cards go right back up. So if you're holding on to him at this point, don't sell because you've already lost. I mean, I sold 98% of my Kellenicks the week he came up. So now I'm waiting, letting it go back down, and I'm definitely going to buy back in on Kellenick or Kellenick.
Kellenick. All right. Anybody else for baseball?
No, but if you listened a couple weeks ago and you bought in on Taylor Trammell,
you have a little I told you so?
No, I told you so. Just exactly what I'm talking about. Guy stunk at the major league level. Still a nicely regarded prospect. He has nothing left to prove at AAA. He goes down. He hits $1 billion in AAA, and they bring him back up, and he's back up and in the starting lineup. And all of a sudden, his cards went up. His autographed PSA 10s went up $50, $75.
That was who now?
That's a 2016 Bowman Chrome auto
of Trammell.
Taylor Trammell.
Taylor. I don't even know if it's gonna be in here, but we'll see. No. Card letters, like, yeah, right. Yeah, I may get an Allen Trammell, but yeah.
Bunk Ladder has him.
Bunk Ladder. Well, we'll see if we can
That's it on him. He's 24. Either he sticks or that's it.
See if we can subscribe to Bunk Ladder, but it's not ready yet. All right. Anything else?
Nope. Keep watching Jared's cards. See, they're gonna go down more.
Yeah. Where's my short friend Wander at these days?
Wander's raking, man.
Let's take a little peek. We're gonna go off book here and take a little peek at some Wander just for fun. Yeah, he's raking, but his cards aren't. You can pick up. This is a Prospects Chrome. I mean, wow, the population on this is for a guy who has not taken one swing in the major leagues. Population 9,100.
On his Bowman Chrome.
2019 Bowman Chrome PSA 10. Population 9,100.
Jesus, what's that at? And you know how many of those are at PSA right now?
A shit
ton. That is prime time year in product that's at PSA right now.
Yeah, the last two went for 203 and 217.
What was the previous high on that?
So
the last spike high.
377 back in March. That was probably when he came up for spring training. And played a couple games. That's probably where that spike came from.
Wow, and that number is going to climb. That 9,100 is going to be 10K plus, easy, very soon.
I mean, your paper prospects base, which has half the pop roughly, is going for 120. So it's not that much less than the Chrome, which is crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, for some of this stuff with Wander, look for stuff that's going to be a little bit more rare. Yeah, the Chrome, the Atomic Refractor is selling for about $1,000. But I mean that
I have one of them, but not graded.
Yeah, the PSA 10.
I'm ready to sell. Second he comes up, it's all gone.
Yeah, the PSA 10 on that pop is 103. So anyway, all right. Let's keep moving. We're already running long here. We're skipping the sports card education section today just because we gave you a whole bunch of education on buying opportunities. We're going to talk a little hot take right now, and we're going to talk Prism. And my question to you is Prism no longer regarded as the premier card?
My question to you is, how much have they produced?
So it seems that, I kind of went down the rabbit hole on some research, and it seems that people are starting to gravitate away from Prism, and especially on the base, and Prism may be a victim of their own quality of printing as well as their own print runs of some of these, especially on the base cards. If you look at some of the guys, everybody was looking for playoff bounces. Trae Young, Devin Booker, Donovan Mitchell, and literally Prism base for Trae Young has still gone down, even though he has played out of his mind and absolutely shown that he belongs to be a superstar in the NBA. His stuff is still going down. But if you look at some of his other product, Revolution, Hoops, you're seeing bumps in those. You're seeing those cards go up. Devin Booker is a massive example of that, along with Trae. Like if you look at their Hoops cards, which are a far less population than their Prism cards, those cards are going up. I mean, they're not going up like 3-4x, but they're going up 25-30%.
But that's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I think it's fantastic that there's other product out there that is going to share the spotlight, because for however long, Prism has been the thing. But it definitely seems like people are starting to look at other products and buy other products right now because Prism is so, there's such high populations on the PSA 9s and 10s. So
yeah,
that,
I don't think there's a product in the last 5 years whose base cards have generated more PSA 10s than Prism basketball has.
well, yeah. I mean, that's the crazy part. Like if you look at and granted, we don't know how many Burrow Prisms are at PSA right now, but if you look at a Burrow Prism base card and a Luca Prism base card, I mean, granted they're a year different, but or actually we'll make it the same year. You look at a Burrow and a Zion. Burrow's population is so low compared to Zion. Zion's in like 17,000, and you have Joe Burrow. Let's see. Burrow pop right now is 938, not even 1,000.
Wow.
But the question is, are there 15,000 PSA 10s sitting at PSA right now?
And that's I mean, you have to consider that, and all the stuff we're talking about, and you have to consider how many are sitting there. But I think the biggest takeaway from what you just said was people are looking for the more scarce item, and products that typically didn't get a lot of love are, especially in the slabbed world, because of their population.
Yeah, I mean, me personally, I'd love to see Revolution get some love, for basketball. I think Revolution makes a card that looks much better than the Prism cards, and they're just a cooler looking card. They look much better in a slab, but they don't get anywhere near the love and appreciation that Prism gets.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say, "Ah, Revolution is crap." My guess is not crap looking; they just say it's crap because they can't make any money on it. But maybe that's changing.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the whole thing. I want to take a look at something real quick and see if I can find what I was looking up earlier. There's one, maybe it was Trey, where you look at Trey's Prism PSA 10, and you got, it's literally just like hanging on. Like it's still right around that 300 level. But I think it was his Hoops card that you saw. Yeah, if you look at his Hoops card's gone from 66 at the end of May to 120. So that's up almost 100%. but the
So,
population is, a third of what it is on Prism.
and
And
that's
who
significant considering the significant drops on some of his other cards.
Yeah, I mean up until the playoffs, his this chart looks really similar to Prism, but you've seen this, people are buying hoops because there's a lot less of them, and you had something even like the last two sales are 100 and 120, and you could have gotten this card a few weeks ago for 65 to $80. So you're seeing 50% or more growth on hoops versus Prism, which is just barely hanging on. Like if the Knicks knocked the Hawks out in round one, you'd have seen his Prism cards just continue to go down. And right now with Prism, they're just barely hanging on. So I'd love to see there be a few different cards that are the premier cards. Get Mosaic some love, get Revolution some love. Not a huge hoops fan because I don't think the cards look all that good, but let's see something else. Either that or Prism get their shit together and stop printing 50 to 100,000 base cards that are all going to PSA 10. So something's got to shift, or something is going to shift here as far as what we're seeing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's wrong that the quality, like if they all come out and would have graded 10, I think that's a good thing. I think the question becomes, is that what we should be submitting to be graded? But again, you can grade anything you want, so who am I
Yeah,
to tell you? But
it's your money.
yep.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's like you look at the Kyler pop from 2019 is 2100. And so I don't know why there's such a big discrepancy between football and basketball as far as the populations on these PSA 10s. But we'll see. And this year is going to be really, really interesting, considering that the hobby hasn't seen as much shine as it's getting right now, and now we have 5 quarterbacks drafted in the top 15 picks, and it's going to be berserk as far as like people trying to get graded stuff and autographs. And it's really going to be a test to see what these card brands do and how greedy they get.
I mean, it's gonna be interesting too because I mean, PSA and BGS are both shut down currently, correct?
Yes.
Minus higher level, like elite level type submissions, right?
Yep.
So you got, I don't, and we don't know when they're coming back, but if you get the more and more football product we have coming out and people rushing to get things graded, you're not gonna have as many initial to get your hand on as a buyer. So I think you could see some epic prices on some of the first graded cards coming out.
Yeah, I mean that's what you saw on LaMelo. PSA was already shut down except for Express, and the first LaMelo base PSA 10s that hit the market were selling for 1,800. Which was more than Zion, Ja, Luca, Trey, all those guys by at least 2. When it came out. So the scarcity because the population was so low, but that number obviously is going to come down. And PSA opens back in 3 weeks from what they're saying. So they're going to be available in some capacity in 3 weeks. They're going to be live at Nationals, but they already said that it's going to be a minimum of $300 if you want to get anything graded at Nationals. But even that, I still imagine there's going to be a line down, out the door and down the block because people have high-end cards that they want to get graded same day, and they'll pay the money for it.
Oh yeah, especially going to turn one of those quarterbacks into 4 figures. You'll drop the 3 on though.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, speaking of BGS, they recently announced that they are going to shut down for pretty much the rest of 2021 to get themselves caught up. So BGS has already, gotten kicked around a little bit as far as like, people poo-pooing their name. So my question to you is, with the 6-month shutdown, does that value continue to drop? Do people start to see it as even less than it is now? I mean, you highlighted it before. BGS 9 versus PSA 9, you're talking half or a third. And with BGS shutting down and people forgetting about it even more, is that gap widen?
I mean, 100%. I don't know how it's a positive for them. I don't know how it's a positive. The only way it's a positive for them if they somehow get their, they ship everything back and get caught up before PSA does somehow.
Well, that doesn't look like it's going to happen, considering they're going to be shut down for 6 months, and they didn't even take all the submissions. They literally are sending cards back to people saying we don't want this right now, and so. But obviously, they have to have enough cards in their already sent to them. People, there still has to be some sort of demand. They probably have millions of cards that are on back order.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's not good for BGS, and it's not good because now I got Joe's Grading Services now opening up, and I can submit cards to this company and Hot Dog Company and all these other Fugazi grading companies now because everyone's trying to get in on it. And I don't know. I'm just gonna sit and wait.
Yeah, I think patience right now is the virtue, and you got to look for buying opportunities, where you can find them, and wait for PSA to come back online. Look at SGC. We're still fans of HGA. We'll probably share some stuff on this podcast. We sent some stuff out to HGA over the course of about 60 days ago. So those are starting to come back. We have 2 submissions into HGA, a couple of fun cards that we'll see where those land, and we'll share some of that stuff on here and on our social media. So we'll see if HGA stands up, but so far they're pretty close to on time as far as the 60 days is concerned. They're about 10 days past due, but we did get confirmation that it's in the mail. So we'll see what happens. Any other things you want to talk about today, Guy?
No, I think we covered a lot, dude.
Yeah, we did. All right. Once again, if you have any cards you want us to look at, go over on the podcast, go over on social media, send us an email, info@sportscardadvantage.com. Follow us on social media, sportscardadvtg. And that is all for us today. We will see you next week.